Hello, my name is Emphrey, and this is a Raylib game development tutorial. Now in this tutorial, I'm going to show you how to do projectiles and make it so that a character can shoot bullets from the right and left direction. One thing that I started doing in these tutorials is I started commenting on these sections so that not only could you just read what's going on during the course of this tutorial, but I also do that for people whose native language might not be English. Not only could they hear me speaking, they could also read. So this could help them out too. And thanks for watching my video. Okay, so the first thing that I did was I separated each bullet. I separated the right bullet from the left bullet. I separate the rightward bullet, which is the top one, from the leftward bullets, which is this bottom here. What I did was I made the rightward bullet, but then copied and pasted everything from the rightward bullet and just put the word left on the leftward bullet. Anything dealing with left is going to have this word left on it. Here I'm making it so that you can only fire 3 bullets at a time, whether you're shooting from the right or left. Second is I set up the rightward bullet class or type. This right one is called the shoot. For the class, I initiate the speed, whether the bullet is active or not, the color of the bullet, which is going to be white, the position and the lifespan of the bullet, how long the bullet will last when it's fired, and the radius, because the bullets are going to be round. And I use this shoot variable to address the things that I write in my code. And I did the same thing, exact same thing with the left. All this is just copied and pasted from the rightward bullet, but I just added the word left. You got the speed left, active left, color left, which is going to be white again, position left, where the bullet will be at while it's fired, lifespan, how long the bullet will last once it is fired, radius left. The left bullet is also going to be round. And I'm using shoot left to address what I write in my code. Here's further setup of the rightward variable and further setup of the leftward variable. And right here, this deals with is the player is facing to the right, and this variable here is dealing with is the player is facing to the left. And furthermore, if we look down here in our code in the walking animation, now remember this is the walking animation now. And whenever we press the right arrow key, we make right true and we make left false. And we did the same thing for when the left arrow key is pressed. Whenever the left arrow key is pressed, we make right false and left true. Later, I'm using this for loop to initialize my rightward shot. And whenever you're writing a for loop, the reason you put things in a for loop is this addresses all the rightward bullets that will ever be fired. You have to attach it to this I here. Otherwise, if you don't put this in a for loop, you'll be only shooting 1 bullet. Player max shoots, once again, we make that 3. So you can only shoot 3 bullets at a time. And the same goes for the leftward bullet. Everything is exactly the same except I put the word left down here on all these variables. Next, this is dealing with the rightward bullet. If the player is facing to the right and the spacebar is pressed, the rightward bullet will be fired. And for all those bullets, because this is a for loop, for all those bullets that'll be fired that after the spacebar is pressed, if one of those bullets is not active, this makes it so the bullet will fire from the player whenever the spacebar is pressed. And when that bullet is fired, the bullet will become active. And here goes another for loop dealing with all the rightward bullets. I just separated them. When the bullet is active, it will go in the rightward direction. This plus means going to the right. And that's when the bullet's life will spawn. But when the bullet gets about 800 feet away from the player, or 800 pixels, the bullet will no longer be active. This part just makes my bullet round. And notice I got the I on every single thing I wrote. See? Because we're still dealing with this for loop. And this is addressing all the bullets. And the same thing up here. I got the I on everything I I'm working with in this for loop here. So it can address all the bullets that will ever be fired going in the rightward direction. Okay, so in this last part with the right, this is just like the reloading section. Once the bullet's lifespan goes out, it's positioned back to the player. A new one is positioned back to the player, and obviously the bullet doesn't go anywhere until it's fired, so the speed goes out, and the lifespan of the bullet goes back to 0 and inactive. Again, this is like the reloading section right here. And then obviously the same thing applies to the left. When the player is facing left and the spacebar is pressed, this for loop dealing with all the leftward going bullets. When the spacebar is pressed, the bullet starts, and the leftward bullet, for all the active left bullets, it goes in the leftward direction, and the lifespan of the bullet is incremented, and when the bullet goes 800 feet or 800 pixels in the I should say mine. Let's see. When the bullet goes 800 in the leftward direction, let's make this minus 100. See what happens after that. So when the bullet goes minus 100 in the leftward direction, it disappears and becomes inactive. Active becomes false. And then the left bullet is also round because you got the radius here, and the color's gonna be white. And once the bullet's lifespan is out, left bullet's just reloaded. The speeds go back to 0 because it's with the player, and this bullet has no lifespan because it hasn't been fired yet and it's not active. So all this is dealing with the leftward bullet, with all these eyes on it for this particular for loop. Before we start, I just want to give a recap of all the code we wrote so far so that we don't leave anybody behind. So this is all we wrote so far. Feel free to copy it if you're just now watching this video. And feel free to pause the video whenever if you have to. Alright, so let's start a game and see what happens now. Okay, so here's our game, and Henry's facing to the right, and so that's where, when I press the spacebar, that's where the bullet goes. And he can't fire no more than 3 bullets like we specified. See, remember, 3 bullets. So he's firing no more than 3 bullets. And the same thing happens when Henry's facing the left, and he's pressing the spacebar. So the bullets are firing, and they're when their lifespan goes out, they disappear and are deleted, and that's what we want. Okay, so that's the end of this tutorial. Take what you learned in this tutorial and expand on it. Thanks. Bye.